Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say Shalom to Ak and Akwat out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This one's titled Lights in the Sky, UFOs, or the Chariots of the Lord. And right off the bat, we're going to give it away and answer that. And the UFOs that you see, just lights in the sky that you see, these unidentified, mysterious objects that no one knows, are really identified, and they're identified as the chariots of the Lord. Alright, now we're going to get some scriptures to prove that, okay, and we're going to back it up, but, you know, that's the main topic of the day. This is kind of inspired, I was looking through topics on what I wanted to do today. I remember a conversation that I had the other day with a coworker, because we were talking about conspiracies, because this guy is he's a self-proclaimed conspiracy theorist, right? He knows some stuff, nothing related to the truth, but, of course he knows the whole, the government's involved in all sorts of shit, knows about MK Ultra, all that stuff, right? The whole September deal, all right, of that 1 year. All right, but at one point he says, "So what do you guys think the UFOs are?" Is what he was saying, and he was saying, and this is a correct guy, right? Maybe I'm still not sure what he is. He could be an Edomite for all I know, but he's strange. I can't read him too well, but sometimes who knows? He could just be a weird Jake. Could just be an Edomite. I'm not sure, but he looks like a Issacharite, right? And he was saying, what do you think those are? And he's like, yeah, because do you think there's something government related? And all I said was, I don't know, but you should read Ezekiel. And he he had this look like, oh yeah, like he knew about it. Okay, so if you go and read about it, and we don't necessarily have Ezekiel here, but if you go and look up Ezekiel spaceship, okay, there's actually a book, okay, and it's called The Spaceships of Ezekiel, and the apostles have mentioned this book. It says, are the von Däniken theories really true? Was Earth once visited from outer space? Did alien beings walk our planet? A major NASA engineer reveals some astonishing facts. The Spaceships of Ezekiel, okay, and that's a book, of course, that the apostles have mentioned. Okay, it says the content of the book. It says the Spaceships of Ezekiel. Bloomrich asserts that Ezekiel's account in the Bible was not a depiction of a meeting with God in a prophetic vision, but one of several encounters with ancient astronauts and shuttlecraft from another planet. Which, of course, they're not going to give you the full truth. You're not going to get the full truth out of any other book but the Bible. But they were close. Okay, with the Ezekiel spaceship, the spaceships being, how do I want to word it? The spaceships being the chariots of the Lord, but not little astronauts or whatever. The men of the Lord, okay, will ride in chariots. All right, the angels, right? But it's not little green men. It's not astronauts from another planet. Okay. I mean, it would depend. It would depend. What does astronaut mean? Let's go see. Because by the technical definition, the Lord in the angels might fall into the category of an astronaut, depending on how they define it.
Astronaut.
Okay, yeah. So I guess the Lord and his angels would be considered not self-proclaimed, but so-called astronauts. Okay, because an astronaut is a person who is trained to travel in spacecraft. Okay, so I guess in that case, that's why you got to get definitions. So by all definitions, the Lord technically would be considered a quote-unquote astronaut, okay? Because an astronaut is a person, like it says, that is a person that's trained, equipped, and deployed by a human spaceflight program, not so much, to serve as a commander or crew member aboard a spacecraft, not so much. But this definition, it fits. Person who is trained to travel in spacecraft, all right? He's the one who, basically made aeronautics. Where do you think the Esau even got a smidge of their power to even begin making things that fly in the air? Who do you think originally had that ability? The Lord, okay? The Lord had the ability to do that, okay? It wasn't man-made. It wasn't created by men. That's why these people are so perplexed and astonished when they see things like UFOs, all right, because they're like, oh, what is that? That has to be, you know, what is it? You know, because surely nothing else but, you know, a man could fly, because man's the most smartest, intelligent being, right? You're wrong. Incorrect. Okay, but that's why these people are so perplexed and they don't know what it is. Okay, and they think, oh, is it government? Is it government? No, if it was government, you think they'd do a little bit better of a job of hiding it. But you can't hide the chariots, man. All right, but we were going over to Ezekiel. I kind of lost track. Ezekiel, let's find let's see. Ezekiel, chariot, let's see. Chariot returns in chapter 8. Where do we want to go? Well, let's get head over to Ezekiel 8 then. Let's go and see. We'll flow with it. I didn't really have this planned, but what's this? Let's see what's here. Fire, yeah, that's a good one. Ezekiel 1:4 through 28. Is this in the King James? No. Let's go to King James version. Check it out. Ezekiel 1:4 through 28. It says, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst there was a color of amber, and out of the midst of the fire." Okay, and then it goes on to say, out of the midst there came the likeness of 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. All right, and that's dealing with something else. What else do we got? Anything else? Well, that's one. There's several accounts. You know, if we could go and get all the, you know, most of the accounts of the Bible, but you know, the notes just speaking of chariots, and sometimes they're mentioned as whirlwind, sometimes they're mentioned as clouds. You know, the great white horse, right? Multiple different names for these things, but when you put them into perspective and you line them up, they're obviously talking about what the people of the world today would be calling a UFO. Okay, but it's not a UFO, because a UFO is an unidentified flying object. Okay, and a chariot is an identified object. An identified object is something that's identified, right? And if you know what it is, it can't be unidentified. So if you know that the cloud or the chariots of the Bible are really speaking about, you know, these spaceships in the sky, then you know the spaceships in the sky are the chariots of the Lord. So it's they're both synonymous with each other, right? The chariots of the Bible are talking about these shiny lights, and these shiny lights are what's in the Bible. Okay, they're not unidentified anymore, they're identified. So they'd be an IFO, an identified flying object, or as we call them, chariots, because they are the chariots of the Lord. Now, the chariots, that's drawn with horse, and that's drawn by horse. That's a one type of chariot. Okay, that's one type of chariot. If you look up a chariot, that's what they'll show you. All right, but a chariot is a means of transport. Okay. And sometimes it talks about this, all right, because that's the old-fashioned chariot, right? But just as things have, you know, grown, all right, this was something that was used at the time by men, all right, but the Lord, his chariot, on the other hand, bit like this, okay? And these are just depictions, all right? Who knows how many of these are actually real? This one looks pretty legitimate, okay? Lights in the sky. All right, that's how they're usually seen as, and these little green, gray alien shit, that's fake. It's made up, and that's just another one of Esau's bullshit things to throw you off. All right, to throw you off the scent. All right, to throw off the scent trail. Okay, they throw little things like this so you have conspiracy theory. Little green men from outer space. You know, the fucking theremin sound. Yeah, it throws people off because now they're thinking, oh, it's something, there's some conspiracy. The government doesn't want us to know about these little green men. No, man, they pulled a fucking gotcha moment, man. What they did was they threw that there so you'd be focused on, oh, they're little green men. And the government was like, oh, no, they're not little green men. Hide that, cover it up. So it looks like they're covering it up, but what they're really covering the fact is that they're not, the beings that are within those chariots don't look like this. They look like a group of so-called black men, all right? In royal attire. So that's what they really don't want you to know. They're acting, what do they call that? They call that they're using reverse psychology on you people, man. They want you to think that they don't want you to think that it's the little green men, but they really have you thinking that, so you'll think, oh, they don't want us to know that. But what they really don't want you to know is that all these vessels right here that you're seeing on screen, or depictions thereof, are actually related to the Lord, all right, and his coming back. So that explains why you wouldn't want that to be known. All right, what sounds worse? Yeah, there's little green men and they're coming back, and that's bad. Or, and I'm talking about from a political perspective. Imagine someone coming on the TV on a news segment saying, yes, there's little green men. We're not sure who they are. We're not sure what their purpose is. Little green men, nanu, and then closing out, which sounds scary. Or there's these things coming back. We know what they are. They're chariots of the Lord. All right. And on those vessels, all right, sometime soon, will be Yahweh Shai. All right, which is the true name that we've been telling you. All right, we all told you it was Jesus. His real name's Yahweh Shai. He is a black man. He hates us white people, and he's coming back to destroy us all. And to destroy this whole society that we call America. I think they'd rather settle with the little green men, don't you? It sounds more, it doesn't sound as bad for them. Okay, little green men, we don't know what their purpose is. They don't want to tell you that, oh yeah, it's a group of black men that are coming back. Yeah, you know how all those things that we did terrible to the black people? Well, yeah, turns out, they're actually the people of the Lord. And it was also prophesied within the Bible that he was going to come back and basically kill all of us and save his people. Yeah, no. Little green men. Right? They don't want to scare everybody. All right, but they know. All right, the elite know. All right, not your average day Edomite, but the elite of the Edomites know. The Rockefellers, they damn sure know. This is Amos 3:7. Okay, and this has been revealed to the prophets. Okay, the men out there, all right, the men that are teaching on the highways and byways, and from One West and Great Millstone, well, notably Great Millstone, and this information has been out there, all right. It's been being taught for a long time, all right, but a lot of people don't get it. A lot of people are still stuck in the fact that, oh, what are those things? I don't know. Maybe they're little green men. Maybe they're a secret government aircraft. Maybe they're this. Maybe they're that. No, it's not maybe this, maybe that. If you read the Bible, you'd find out exactly what they are. If the Spirit was working with you, all right? If Yahweh Bashem Yahushua was directly working with you and allowing the Spirit to be poured upon you so you can get that knowledge, all right? If he was revealing that knowledge by you being one of his servants, all right, the prophets. But you don't got it because it's not for you to get. Amos 3:7, surely the Lord Yahweh will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Okay? And that's why, well, what makes you guys think you know so much? Well, the men of the Lord, they know so much, all right? The apostles and elders, they know so much because they're servants of the Lord, all right? And the Lord's directly working with them and revealing things unto them. That's the whole way this truth even came out in the first place, all right? It's through, the Lord revealing his secret unto these men, all right? And it started, long ago, and then that information has been passed down to men, which is directly, the Lord working with them, all right? If they're allowed to get it and allowed to continue to pass that information on down, then the Lord is working with them as well. Okay, but you got all the people of the world, oh, what are these things? What are these things? Meanwhile, you have whole groups of people, all right, that understand exactly what these things are, okay? But we're labeled as conspiracy theorists or hate groups or weirdos or, this or that, okay? And we're made the subject of mockery, okay? But, hey, you're going to find out soon what these things are, all right? So go ahead and keep on thinking it's little green men. It'd be better for you that way because, little green men that come back and they're going to, I don't know. Everybody always says, oh, they're going to probe you. What kind of weird shit is that? That's weird, man. Who came up with that? It doesn't even sound accurate. Little green men. What are they? What is it from Planet Mars? Was it Little Green Men from Planet Mars or something? I can't remember the name of it. They have all these movies and stuff. All these movies. It's go on to Luke 8 and 17. Okay, because Esau, we spoke about Esau trying to cover these things up, and they will. That's their favorite. They will for a time and for a place and for a season. All right, they're going to be allowed to have this deception going out, but eventually, when the Lord wants it to be revealed, it's going to be revealed. Okay, the Lord's only allowing Esau to have the minds of these people for just a little bit. Okay, but when the Lord comes back, all right, when Yahushua comes back on those chariots, no one's going to be thinking it's little green men. All right, they're going to know exactly what's going on right in that time and place. Okay, and they're going to know that they fucked up. They're going to know that they're out of luck, man. And not that there's anything such as luck, but that's just figure of speech. They're going to know that they're fucked. Their time's up, man. There's nothing they can do. Imagine these KKK leaders and these white supremacists and all these fucking weird fringe, neo-Nazi groups. All right, imagine what's going to happen when they see, that the Lord's a black man. All right, after all the shit that they've said and that they've done, and these Edomites, throughout their history, who, several generations ago were not so many really, all right, were enslaving our people, all right, and beating our people and buck breaking our people and cannibalizing our people. Imagine how they're gonna feel in their spirit when they see that the Lord's a black man. Oh man, it's gonna be bad. All right, I don't envy you guys. All right, that's gonna be bad. So Luke 8 and 17, they can hide it for a little bit, but not for long. Luke 8 and 17, for nothing is secret that shall not be manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. The only reason something's being hid for the time and for the season is because the Lord's allowing it to be hid. It's just like everything. When you lie as a child, all right, everybody lied as a child. You can't say that you were perfect. Did you do this? No, I didn't do it. All right, why'd you lie? Because you didn't want to get an ass whooping, right? But guess what? Your dad, your mom would do a little bit of investigation. Come to find out, you did lie. I found out you lied, and guess what? Now you're getting a worse ass beating than you should have just took the ass beating, and then that would have been done with it, man. Okay, that would have been done with it. But now it's been revealed. All right, because everything, and it's the same. It's not just with this; it's with everything. Okay, and this is red letter, so this is Yahushua speaking, right? So it's not just with this; it's the stuff you've hidden from the Bible. All right, it's you liars out there. It works the same for you. You lying about something, guess what? It's gonna be revealed. Okay, because you're lying. That's wicked. You're not supposed to be lying. All right, that's a sin. So it's gonna come to fruition. It's gonna come. It's gonna come up. There's a guy at my work. He's a cool dude, but he lies his ass off, man. And he's lying. All right, and if you don't know he's lying at the time, you end up figuring out that he's lying later. All right, because he'll slip up on something. And that's how it is with everybody. Liars always slip up. You'll lie about something, and then I got a big house. And then, next week, I was in my RV. I'm not saying this is what he said. I'm just making something up. I was in my RV. I thought you said you had a big house. Yeah. I have a big house, but that house is in Vermont. Right now, I'm in my RV. But I thought you said you were at your house last week. Yeah. I went to Vermont, and I was there for a little bit, but I had to come back. And now I'm in my RV. Like, wait a minute. You were here last week. You didn't go to Vermont. Oh, you're right. It was the week before that where I went to Vermont. Just stop your lying, man. Stop your lying. All right, because like the scripture says, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. And that's everything. Okay, that's everything. That's the stupid little lies you do. That's the lies that Esau's doing. That's the people bearing false witness. All these things are gonna come, and they're gonna be revealed in time, man. Okay, they're gonna be revealed in time. All right, especially the big things that Esau is trying to cover up. Us being Hebrews, who our people really are. All right, the exact, the nations we're from, that we're not black people, but in fact we're Judites, Levites, Benjamites. We're not Latinos, but we're actually Manasseh, Ephraimites, Naphtali. All right, Manasseh. Brain was messing up. All right, of course you're not Native Americans. You're really Gadites. All right, so all those things are going to come, oh yeah, this happened, well that was really us, we're the Edomites, and this happened and that, everything. They're not going to necessarily admit it, but it's all going to come. It's being known, man. There's a lot of things, and you got to realize the Lord's been periodically revealing things. There's certain things that we didn't know, 30 years ago that we know now. All right, there's the Esau's, his own tongue is what's the scripture? His own tongue fall upon himself, right? Make his own tongue. And I spelt that wrong, but whatever, they'll correct it. Psalm 64:8, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, all that see them shall flee away. There's, now there's, groups of people that are like, wait a minute, You know, they're finding out things about like how, you know, the sundowner towns. They're finding out about all these so-called black towns that are, you know, beautiful lakes now, right? You got a lot of beautiful lakes out there. Well, guess what? That a lot of those beautiful lakes, all right, were one time a black town, so-called black people town, all right, of Judites, all right, or Levites, or, you know, Israelites, I should just say. We'll just lump it all in together. Israelites, right? There might have been Issacharites there, whoever. Israelites. There are towns filled with Israelites, and now they're towns that are filled with water, okay? And they're gone, and who knows? Those people don't even have graves, probably, okay? So there's a lot of things that are being revealed. You know, back if you would have looked, you know, 20 years ago, you might not have been able to find out that all these inventions were created by so-called black people. All right, the modern heating, modern plumbing, the actual light bulb, not the glass, because the glass was made by Einstein. The bulb, that was it. The everything else was made by a so-called black man. All right, IBM, all right, the first computers. All right, you know, the black man, so-called. You know, AC, just fucking ambulances, just everything, man. You wouldn't, the modern traffic light that Esau, like, no, there was originally a white guy over in England. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that wasn't, no. He stole the idea, man. There's some things that, you know, Jake had patented or hadn't patented yet, all right, but they had the blueprints of, and then some white man came along and stole it, and they're like, it's my invention now. Fucking Jack Daniel's whiskey, stolen from a slave. All right, what about KFC? Stolen from a slave. All this shit, man. It's so Esau can't do shit. They're retards, man. They're retards, and that's really, you know, that's really a step too far, because there's retards that are smarter than Esau, you know. So that's the state. But here we go. Now we're gonna get into the scriptures that prove this. Okay. This is Isaiah 31:5, and at the same time, you have to have the Spirit dealing with you to be able to understand it. You have to have the ability to receive it, because if not, you're not going to be able to receive it. You'll try to find any which way you can to just ignore the fact that these scriptures are obviously talking about what you would call a UFO. We're going to start off with Isaiah 31:5, just letting you know that how is the Lord going to defend our people, all right? How is the Lord going to defend the Israelites? First off, it says Isaiah 31:5, as birds flying, so as birds flying, right? As birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. So he's going to do that. He's going to do that as birds flying, okay? As birds fly. So from the sky, okay? He's going to defend Israel from the sky, okay? He's going to defending and deliver. He's going to deliver it from the sky, okay? And preserve it from the sky. Okay? Keep that in mind. Now, one of my favorites, this is Acts 1:1 through 11. Okay, and we're kind of quick firing them because it's just one of those things where we're putting the information out there, and if you get it, you get it. You don't. So Acts 1 and 1 through 11. Starting with verse 1. It says, "The former treaties have I made, O Theophilus, of all that Yahushua began both to do and teach, until the day in which he was taken up, after that he, through the Holy Spirit, had given commandments unto the apostles whom he had chosen, to whom also he showed himself alive after his passion, by many infallible proofs, being seen of them 40 days, and speaking of the things pertaining to the kingdom of the Most High." All right, so he was dealing with them, telling them things that were going to be pertaining unto the kingdom and the things coming. All right, spending time with them, being seen of them for the 40 days, right, after the passion, all right, being resurrected, right, as after his crucifixion, right. In verse 4 it says, "And being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem, but wait for the promise of the Father, which saith he, ye have heard of me." Verse 5, "For John truly baptized with water, but ye shall be baptized with the Holy Spirit not many days hence." Okay, because that's the main way of being baptized. You can be baptized by water, all right, but the real baptism is the holy baptism, that Spirit, all right, coming upon you, all right, making you whole and making you new again. Verse 6 says, "When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom of Israel?" All right, so when is this going to happen? In verse 7, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father hath put in his own power. But what? But ye shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is come upon you, and ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and the uttermost parts of the earth. And here's the kicker. Verse 9, and when he had spoken these things while they beheld, they were watching him, and he was speaking these things, and they beheld, watching him, right? While they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly towards heaven as he went up, so he was taken up in a cloud, if you will, and he was taken up, right? And then what happened? Behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel. There's 2 men in white apparel. What happened? What did they say? Which also said, ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? The same Yahushua which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven. And I love that scripture. It's excellent. Okay? It's excellent. Chef's kiss, right? Excellent. The same way that Yahushua left, which was how? Up into a cloud, as it says. How's he going to come back? In a cloud. Okay? And there's a scripture that says the Lord cometh with clouds, right? Boom. Perfect. Excellent. Chef's kiss. Look, Matthew 24 and 29 through 30. These are unrefutable, man. Unrefutable. What is unrefutable? Definition. Irrefutable, maybe. Let's see. Irrefutable. Yeah, irrefutable. Okay, irrefutable.
Irrefutable.
Impossible to deny or disprove. Okay, now you can try to deny it or disprove it, but it's irrefutable, man. You can't. You can't do it to the scriptures. Okay, you'd have to do it with, I don't believe it. I think that's wrong. I think it's a fallacy. All right, if you know who we're speaking about. They love to say the word fallacy. It's their favorite fucking word. It's a fallacy. It's a fallacy. That's a fallacy. That's a biblical fallacy. It's a fallacy. It's a fallacy. Don't you know you're supposed to take off that goddamn hat? When you're talking. If you're really talking about the Bible here, shouldn't you be taking off that hat? You know what we're talking about. So drab, go home. All right, as I like to call them. So the same way that Yahushua left is the same way that he's coming back. We already had it copied. Proving it right here in Matthew 24 and 29 through 30. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then what's going to happen? Verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. There you go. It's right there. Boom. Then what's going to happen? It says, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Like it said in the previous scripture that we read in Acts 1 through 11, really in verse 1 and 10. The same way that he left, which was on a cloud, is the same way he's coming back. And what does it say here? And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. All right, and this is a future prophecy, because if you go to Matthew 24 and read through it, it talks about all of the signs of coming, right? If you read verse 1 down, all right, if you read verse 2, it says, we'll read, let's see. In verse 3, it says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? There you go. So this is how you would know. These are the things, as you're reading through, this is how you would know when he's coming back. And if you go back to verse 29 and 20 and 30, it says that he's going to be coming back in clouds. Just as it said in Acts 1 and 10, that he left the same way, verse 11, the same way that he left is the same way he's coming back. It was also prophesied within Matthew 24, all right, that he was going to be coming with clouds. So everything adds up. Those are synonymous with each other. They link. Those are linked up, okay? You can't deny that. It's irrefutable. If you try to deny it, well, you can try anything, all right? You can try to say you're the strongest man in the world, all right? But go ahead and deadlift, 500 pounds. Let's go ahead and see you do it. You can say you are, but it doesn't mean that you're doing it. You can say that you can disprove the prophets. You can say you can disprove things in the Bible, but you can't. You can say it all you want. You can say anything. I could say I have $1 million. I don't. I could say that I've got 4 arms. I don't have 4 arms. Okay? I could say anything. All right, but it doesn't mean that, one, you're gonna suffer the repercussions for saying those things, and two, those things don't necessarily become true. Okay, so you can say, oh, this happened. Well, one, you're gonna suffer repercussions because you're denying the Lord, and two, it doesn't make it true. Okay, so, but that's what these people, these fucking apologists and this guy and that guy and Geno Jennings and all these fucking weirdos that don't understand what's going down. These people, man, I just want to see their fucking face when the Lord comes back. They're gonna be standing there with their jaw on the goddamn ground. Well, really, they won't even be doing that. They're gonna be shitting themselves and pissing themselves, literally. Remember when I used to use that example all the time? And I don't mean it to be funny. I don't mean, I'd shit my pants. You know that joke? I'd shit my pants. No, these people are literally they're gonna release fecal matter upon themselves. All right, that's how afraid they're gonna be. Their legs are gonna be shaking, and their bowels are gonna give out, and their bladder's gonna give out, and they're literally gonna piss and shit themselves. They're gonna be screaming and wailing and crying and gnashing their teeth. It's gonna be the most terrible time for themselves after all this shit that they said and all the, oh, no, that's a fallacy, all this and that, oh, the Lord this, the Lord's name isn't Yahushua, the Lord's name is this and that and that. Yeah, well, guess what? All those things that you said, all those things that you put out there, what you reap, you have to sow, man. And it's gonna be bad for you. It's gonna be bad for you. And we can't help you out of it because, unfortunately for you, the one person that could deliver you out of terrible situations is the Lord, and you've denied him. And you've said his name's not Yahushua, and you've said that he doesn't do this, and you've said that he doesn't do this, and you said he's not a black man, you said he's not coming back, and you said he's not going to destroy all the white people, he's not going to destroy all Babylon, and he's not going to do this, and Babylon isn't, America, it's really this, and then this isn't around anymore, and that was already came to truth, and the people that are in the Holy Land now are actually the Jews. You've said all these things, so the Lord, when he comes back, he's not going to help you at all, regardless if you're an Edomite or a Jake. If you've been saying those things. If you're an Edomite, he's not going to help you regardless. Even if you say, Lord, please, I was sorry, I was wrong. He's not going to help you because you're an Edomite. All right? And if you're a Jake, please, Lord, please. No. All right? You still got a pack of fucking Black and Milds in your pocket, man, trying to plead with the Lord. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Okay? So if you get it, you get it. You don't, you don't. The lights in the skies, UFOs, or the chariots of the Lord. They're the chariots of the Lord. Unrefutable. All right? Irrefutable. I should say, irrefutable, okay? I can disprove it. No, you can't. No, you can't, okay? Because anything that you can disprove, you're going to have a million and one men out there that are going to be able to disprove what you're trying to prove, all right? You're going to say, oh, well, this is speaking of an actual cloud that, you remember when Goku rode on the cloud on Nimbus? Well, it's going to be like, no, it's a chariot, man. And if the Lord so pleased, could he make a literal cloud into a vessel? Yes, of course, he's the Lord. He can do whatever he wants. All right? He could probably just float through the sky if he wanted to. It's the Lord. He can do whatever he wants. It's the Lord. Okay? But that's not how it happened. You got to realize these things are in a lot of these depictions of clouds and, and whirlwinds. These were depictions by men at the time, didn't have a way to describe exactly how they were. They weren't going to say, oh, it was a UFO. The word UFO didn't come to be until the 1950s. Okay? Before that, they were called Foo Fighters. Okay? And they called them Foo Fighters because the people in the time of World War II thought they were, Asian spacecraft, aircraft, Asian aircraft, like Japanese specifically, or maybe even Chinese, because, the Red Menace, the Red Devil, right? Speaking about, communists, all right, the communist parties and all that stuff with the Chinese at the time. That's who they thought it was. They were called Foo Fighters. But after coming to find out that they weren't, they started just calling them UFOs because they could not identify them. They didn't know what they were. All right. But now, through the men of Great Millstone, all right, through over these years, we know that those things are, in reading the scriptures and having the Spirit dealing with us, it's ever so apparent that those UFOs are really chariots of the Lord. And so in the Bible, it's not going to say, and then a UFO came and they beheld, the Lord go up in a UFO. No. First of all, they would never use the term UFO because they would have known what it is back then. They were calling it a cloud, all right, because that's what it looked like to them. All right, it floated in the sky. All right, went from place to place. It's a cloud, okay? It's just like certain things in the Bible they didn't have, they can't say, and it was just like a Corvette driving. No, they can't. There wasn't a Corvette. They didn't exist. So, how would they describe it? You got to think about if you were in a time, even if in biblical time periods were before even the medieval days, all right, the Dark Ages is when, Jake was ruling, and then shortly were taken out of power. And then, of course, you had the Renaissance after that, where Esau came back to power. But even if you think about those times, the 15, 14, 1300s, 1200s, all right, in that time span, all right, or even if you go all the way back to biblical, but a lot of people have a hard time picturing that. So you just picture the Middle Ages, right? And all you know is, the cities and the taverns and the meaderies and the bakeries, and a horse and buggy is all you have. All right, that's it. All right, or maybe not even a buggy at this point, maybe just a horse that you would ride on. All right, and you saw knights. All right, and you saw this and that, and there'd be people dancing and juggling and gestures and all that stuff, right? All this is all you know of. And then you see a giant light beam in the sky. How are you gonna describe that? Okay, you're not gonna say, oh, technological, because there's no such thing as technology yet. Technology there's not that word. You can't say, oh, it's a technological wonder within the sky. No, because technology wasn't a term that was coined yet. Okay, so you can't say that. What are you gonna say? It's in the sky. It's floating there. It looks like a cloud with like fire on it. To describe lights. They're not gonna say it was LEDs. There were LEDs or some type of infrastructure. Some type of light bulbs. No, they're not. No. They're gonna say there was lights on it, and there was like fire. It was bright like fire, and the color, right? And when they say colors, they're not gonna say, oh, it was green like this or green like, they're not gonna say it was green like, oh, it's green like the green on the bottle of a Mickey's, the alcohol. It was green. No, what do they know? Barrel. They know the word barrel. They know what barrel is. All right, it's a stone. Okay. So they know what that is. They know what barrels are. They know what emerald is. If you ever look throughout the Bible and you see depictions of color, a lot of the time, they might say emerald or beryl, because you can look at a stone. This is emerald. It's the same colors, and well, not emerald. I'm just using an example. These are beryl, but I can say, oh, this is the same color as beryl. This is the same color as amethyst. This was the same color as a ruby. This was the same color. It was crystal clear like a diamond. Okay. You can say certain things. Oh, it was gold. It was shiny like gold. It was shiny like silver. It was shiny like, steel. Okay? You gotta put yourself in the mindset of these people in that time. Okay? So when they're seeing these visions, they're not gonna say, yes, it was a UFO. All right? No, because that term hadn't come about yet. Not until the 1950s. Okay? That's how you know the term now, UFO. But before, you wouldn't have. So go back to 1800 or 1900. Go to 1905 and say the word UFO. No one's gonna fucking understand what the fuck you're saying. Go back to 1930. No one's gonna know what a UFO is. Go back to 1940. No one's gonna know what it is. Go back until the early 1950s. No one's gonna know what it is. Until it was 1952 or 1953. Boom. Then people are gonna know what UFO is. But guess what? Even at that time, UFO, what's that? Oh, you didn't watch the news? It was just maybe 1960. Most people have known what a UFO is by then. Okay, they'd know it's a saucer, a flying saucer, right? That's another thing they called it before that, was a flying saucer. All right. So, and there's other terms within the Bible. I beheld a flying roll. All right, we can't get them all, but you have to use your mind, man. And this Bible requires you to use your mind, and that's the problem. Is a lot of people, there's a lack of minds being used in this modern day society. A lot of people are just fucking dumb, Right here, we got to get let's see. If I could type Ezekiel 1:16, the appearance of the wheels of their work was like unto the color of a beryl, and they had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Again, there you go. Burning, and it talks about burning coals of fire, right? It talks about how they looked. You have to think of the time period, and you have to think, how would you describe it? Okay? If there was something new, think about how you would describe a PlayStation 4. Okay? Back in the day, you'd be like, oh, it was like a chiseled stonework in the shape of a square with lights of fire on it that made noise. All right, and visions would appear when it was interacted with, all right, or something. You got to think about how, think about how things would be described. And I'm just using a PlayStation 4 because everybody knows what that is. Well, most people do. Think about how you would have to describe certain things if you've never seen something like that before, okay? Or if you didn't have the modern name, everybody knows, puts names for something, all right? But how would you describe a Band-Aid? Everyone knows a Band-Aid. A Band-Aid, oh, is a, there was a piece of, adhesive material that stopped the blood, okay? Or that was a cloth material, all right? You see how things could be, you can understand what they are, but at the same time, you have to find a way to describe them because there's not a way to describe them in a way that everybody can understand yet. Everyone can understand there's a thing in the sky. It's like it has fire on it. There's eyes all over it, and there's eyes all over it, and it was like barrel, okay, and it floated, and it was very fast, okay, and the Lord went up into it. That everyone can understand. Okay, so as he like went up into a cloud, that's interesting. Wow. And you can picture it. Okay, you can picture it once you get all these scriptures, what these vessels are talking about. Not to mention all the depictions of chariots throughout, hieroglyphs and Native American art, right? Ancient depictions of UFOs. Is there a UFO in that Renaissance painting? Yeah. Look. That's a UFO for sure. These ones, look. There's that one right there. Look at that. Why are there so many depictions? Look at that. Why are there so many depictions, man? But it never, it's a new thing. It's a new thing, never happened. Things like these and cave paintings, man. Come on now. Don't bullshit us. Don't bullshit us. Explain. Don't bullshit us. Explain. What are these then? They're just coincidences? They just happen to be a big coincidence? Oops. They just drew it because, that's a cloud. What the fuck? What cloud have you ever seen that looks like this? Okay, other than the homunculus cloud. Wrong one. What do they call them? They're not homunculus clouds. They're yeah, they are, aren't they? No, they're UFO cloud. What are those called? Lenticular clouds. That's right, lenticular, not homunculus. Lenticular. Okay? They look like chariots because they're chariots. They look like chariots because they're chariots. Yeah, this fucking bug comes and flies, scare the shit out of me. Goddamn. So, homunculus clouds. Alright, or lenticular. Slakia, lenticular. Okay? So, keep that in mind. Alright, but hey, should have been just a coincidence, right? Just a big coincidence. Oh well. You guys don't got it. This is Isaiah 66 and 15 through 66 and 16. It says, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire." So the we've established in Matthew 24 and 30 that or not 39 30, but we've established in 29 and 30 that he's going to be coming in clouds. But we established in Acts 1 and 10 through 11 that the same way that he left is the same way he's coming back. Now in Isaiah 66 and 15 through 16, how is he's coming back? But is he coming back happy? Is he coming back for fun and to shake hands? How is he coming back? Verse 15, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind." Why? To do what? "To render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by a sword would the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many." So it seems that he's coming back to destroy and to kill a lot of people. Okay? Let's get Revelation 1 and 7, then we're going to go ahead and close out. I wasn't as fluid as I wanted to be today. I was kind of hopping around. But, hey, the Spirit isn't going to be on you as heavy every day as it is on other days. Some days you really got it burning. Other days, you got a little bit. Some days it almost feels like you don't got, much, but you still have to do it. All right, but today, it's manageable. But sometimes you have bigger plans for a lesson, but it just don't work out that way. So this is just, at least the information's getting out there, right? But and Lord willing, it was edifying regardless. But Revelation 1:7 says, "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him." Everyone, every eye, not just the eye of the Israelites, not the eye of the Edomites. Every eye, everyone's gonna see him. Okay. "Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him," the same people that put him to death. You know how fucking terrifying that's gonna be, man? And at that time, the Lord can make it in their spirit to where they know what they did. Okay? Wouldn't want to be it. "And they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail." A wail is an intense cry. "All kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen." There you go. And I gotta get the next one. I'm gonna leave off of that because that's heavy. And this is Yahushua speaking. "I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending, saith the Lord, which is and which was and which is to come, the Almighty." That's heavy. It's a heavy entrance, man. That's a heavy entrance. The Lord's bad like that. All right. So lights in the sky, UFOs, or the chariots of the Lord? Well, they're the chariots of the Lord. If you can understand it, you can understand it. There's more scriptures than this, really. There's a lot. There's whole, behold a flying roll, enter up in the chambers, but for a little moment. There's a lot. All right, there's a lot. Okay, but this is just, we usually do about 7 so we can make sure we get to all of them. To have a lesson around, 40-ish minutes to the hour mark. Okay, so you can watch it in one go. All right, so that's that, man. So hey, it's out there. The information is out there if you have the Spirit working with you, man. All right, these UFOs, they're not UFOs, they're IFOs. And what are they identified as? They're identified as the chariots of the Lord, and that's how the Lord's going to come back. So hey, believe it if you believe it, don't if you don't. Hey, it doesn't make it any less true if you don't believe it. It's still true. Let's close out with that. "For what if some did not believe?" This goes for anything biblical, right? What if you don't believe what the prophets are saying? Well, Romans 3:3. "For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? Yahweh forbid. Yea, let Yahweh be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged." So if you don't believe, hey, you don't believe, but it's not going to stop this truth. With that, we're going to go ahead and close out. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. Shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until the next one, Lord willing, Shalom.